Welcome back to Face the State. I'm Ariana Bennett. Thank you for joining us. Well, whether they ride Harleys or sport bikes, there are thousands of motorcycle enthusiasts here in northern Nevada. And as our weather warms up, you're definitely going to be seeing a lot more of them cruising our streets. So how can we make our roads and our community as safe as possible for bikers and everyone else? Troy Regas and Mike Markham from the Northern Nevada Confederation of Clubs are here to talk about that. Thank you both for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so Troy, we'll start with you since you are the chairman. Let's just talk about the Confederation of Clubs and what it is.
The Confederation of Clubs is all the motorcycle clubs from Northern Nevada. Our participants, there's over 40, and we all get together once a month and we do the toy run, and we also put things in legislatures.
And it's a pretty wide range. I mean, you've got your Harley riders and your road bikers, right?
Yep, mom, pop, you name it, we have it.
Okay, very cool. And it's a pretty big group. What are your numbers? How many people?
We have over 40 clubs, and that probably represents more than 10 to 25 per club. So I don't know, 500-600 members.
So what are your big events that you hold throughout the year? Things that people might have
One of the biggest events we do is the Reno Toy Run. We've been putting it on since '96 as a Confederation of Clubs. We do it annually, normally in December, and we raise a lot of money. We raise a lot of toys for Northern Nevada, and we distribute them.
Very cool. Yeah, it's interesting because I think probably a lot of people outside of the motorcycle community maybe didn't even know you guys exist, but it's a pretty big group.
Yes.
All right, now I want to talk about some of the other stuff that you guys do. I know one of the things you do is advocate in the legislature for bills or against bills. So I think I'll turn to you for this one. What are you guys working on right now?
Right now there's a helmet bill for helmet choice in Nevada. Nationally, more and more states are rolling back the conception that helmets make you safer. And while they make you safer, they don't necessarily make you safe. There are times, especially, I grew up down south, when it's 125 in the summer in Vegas, helmets can actually cause an accident, because you overheat.
Right.
So there's a lot of times when I would choose to wear a helmet almost all the time, if not all the time. But and so that's what we're advocating for. It isn't like going to make helmets illegal,
Right.
or it's not going to change, I think, the vast majority of our riders here in Nevada. But there are a lot of people that choose to ride without a helmet. People also choose to ride in shorts and with flip-flops, and I wouldn't do that either, but how many laws do we need to get people to do what they're supposed to? So.
Right. Well, just to clarify for those who aren't familiar, Nevada law does require a Department of Transportation certified helmet, and that's a ticketable offense if you're found in violation of it, which I know has been kind of a sticky issue just in terms of enforcement. So what you guys are advocating for is having that be voluntary.
The
helmet wearing.
Helmet wearing, yes, for adult riders that with experience and or the ones that pass the advanced rider course. What we want to see is less accidents overall, not just people's heads surviving the accident.
Okay, what about the argument that there's a law that requires us to wear seatbelts to keep us safe, and
Yes.
even if it's uncomfortable, we still have to wear it?
Yes, it's one of those liberty issues. I know myself, I wear a full face helmet, but tourists will want to come here. States around us have no helmet for adults, and we want their tourist dollars. And once again, what we want to look at is overall motorcycle accidents and reducing the accidents. What would you rather have, a seatbelt on in an accident or not be in an accident? So with advanced training, the statistics show much less chance of being in an accident to begin with, and thus less chance of being hurt in an accident by wearing a helmet. Also, like states like California, the helmet law doesn't mean anything. It's been challenged in the courts to the point now where you can wear a bicycle helmet, you can wear a hockey helmet. They can't, because they can't, you were talking about a certified helmet, there really is no such thing. They're only certified under their manufacturing methods. They're not actually tested. Nobody will get behind a helmet and say this is genuinely safe because of the liability issue. So there's a real division there between people that want to have, you know, the smaller helmets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wear a full face most of the time. I don't like bugs in my teeth.
Understandable. Okay, well, let's
Try.
talk about then, in terms of making everyone safe and preventing accidents, like you said, there are probably a lot of things that people can do that can help. Let's just go over some of the, you know, road tips. How can we as drivers and you as motorcyclists all, you know, live together peacefully on the roads?
Well, the first thing is for people to understand that we can be in your blind spots. And therefore, you always have to look out for motorcyclists, just like a pedestrian and or a bicycle. We're a little harder to see. We're not that big truck in your right corner. So you have to watch out for us. When I drive, I prefer to get away from a lot of cars. I don't want to be on your blind spot, so I try to avoid those spots. So if you're in front of me or on the side of me, I'm either going to move in front of you or I'm going to move way behind you. That's the number one thing for me. Also, when I stop, one of the biggest things I'm worried about is someone rear-ending me because I'm a smaller view than a car. So I really watch people behind me. I'm watching all the time because, unfortunately, on a motorcycle, you know, you've seen people being rear-ended. On a motorcycle, we don't stand much of a chance. So, you know, it's part of the drivers. There's education. I think what happens today is people get on motorcycles at a young age. They buy the highest CC motorcycle they can. They don't have any training. They think they can go as fast as they want. That's a big concern for us. We'd like to see classes, which is the helmet law. We'd like to see people ride for at least 5 years, and classes, and we believe that would help the whole thing. Accidents.
Who would offer those classes? Would it be a DMV type thing? Or?
Nevada.
Okay.
There's a state agency that's it's part of NDOT that's specifically tasked for motorcycle safety. On the front page of our website, there's a link to their advanced rider course that you would have to pass to be able to ride without a helmet. You know, the training and avoiding accidents and dropping down overall, it's kind of a carrot and a stick. If you want to ride without a helmet, you have to take an advanced class.
Right.
You know, and get better training, and that would make it safer for all of us.
Is there a lot of support for this bill? I mean, do you think there's a good chance that it could pass?
I think there's support. It just depends on the committee and if they're going to go with it. There are senators behind it. We have people pushing. I think the initial voting was 90% for, 10% against. They talked about that in the legislation. So there's a good chance it could pass. I think it's a good thing. One thing that happens when you have a helmet is you can't hear as well. You know, it's over your ears. So depending on what's around you, you got to be more careful with the helmet, which I will choose to wear my helmet 99.9% of the time. But helmet's something you do have to get used to. You have less vision, you know, if you have a full face. So there are just things with a helmet that some people have a problem with and some people don't.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. What about things like lane splitting? I know that it's not legal in Nevada and it is kind of variable on a state-by-state basis. What's the motorcyclist argument for or against lane splitting?
Well, the number one thing in Nevada for lane splitting there's a couple things. Number one is we have an air-cooled motor. So if we're sitting in traffic, our motor heats up because there's no air on it and it can die in traffic, especially in Las Vegas. That's a big issue. The number two issue is when I'm behind traffic, I'm afraid of someone rear-ending me. If someone rear-ends me, the chances are I'm underneath their car, you know. So that's a big worry. So what we call lane filtering is when it's kind of like a roundabout. You have cars going in different you know, everyone's going. But what happens in lane filtering is a motorcycle simply moves up to the front, takes off, and normally gets out of traffic, which is better for the motorcyclist.
Yeah, interesting. I will admit I have never driven a motorcycle, so when in my car, I'm seeing this happen, I'm going, oh my gosh, like I'd be afraid as a driver that I'd be going to change lanes and someone is coming up behind me and I don't see him.
Well, there's laws. Lane splitting is something we're going to go for, or filtering. in next sessions. But there needs to be some education behind it. The one thing is when you're, that we'd like to see is that you're not passing cars over 25 to 35 miles an hour. So if traffic is moving at a speed of, let's say, 25 miles an hour, you stay behind the car that's in front of you. In other words, you stay like this. But when traffic goes to a crawl or a stop, that's when you're allowed to filter.
Okay.
And that would help the motorcycle in two ways, rear end collisions and the engines.
Okay, we have just about 3 minutes left, but something I did want to talk about, I think it's a really common perception that all bikers are the same. You know, there's a stereotype attached to it, and that's something that you are all actively trying to dispel. Tell me about that.
I don't, are we trying to dispel it? Maybe. At the Confederation of Clubs, we have many clubs. We all get together. We all have one common thing that we do, and that's ride motorcycles and or trikes. But everybody in the Confederation likes bikes. It doesn't matter what kind of bike. I'll ride a Ducati, a Harley. It doesn't matter to me. I love motorcycles. Matter of fact, I don't own a car. I ride every day.
Even in the snow?
Even in the snow, it does not matter. So
I can testify to that.
So everyone's a little different, but we support each other. So if you have a Suzuki, a Honda, it doesn't matter to me. I like to see people ride. I'd like to see more bikes out there. It gets great gas mileage. I can go on 4 gallons, what, about 200 and some miles. So, you know, that's another benefit.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think motorcycles are great.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think the Confederation, you know, has reached out. The Reno Toy Run is a perfect example of that. You know, we've raised just this century and donated, you know,
$128,000 in
Wow.
cash, and then we've probably done about $300,000 in toys to local communities. So that's a pretty good.
and not to
achievement.
other bikers. To, you know, we work with all the Northern Nevada different groups like the Children's Cabinet and the Story County Community Chest and Silver
Lyon County.
Springs and Lyon County and, you know, even the outlying county. So it is, you know, the Reno Toy Run benefits all of Northern Nevada.
Is that something that you encounter frequently? People having misconceptions about
Yes.
who you are?
Oh, always, but
Always.
I don't know, it doesn't bother us.
But the toy run is a great time to come out and enjoy it with us, you know, and then to see just how diverse our community is, you know, that, you know, there's people of, you know, we have religious clubs, we have, you know, every ethnicity that's in the area, you know, there's members of our Confederation. There isn't a, you know, we're not racists. We're not, you know, even, you know, we're a pretty accepting group, you know, and that's something that I don't think a lot of non-bikers and the charity work, even my own wife, didn't realize until she saw me involved with it for a number of years, you know, just how extensive all the motorcycle clubs really are community oriented, and we really like resent the word gang.
Okay. Well, thank you guys both for coming on and elucidating all
Thank
of
you.
us. Appreciate your time. That is it for this episode of Face the State, but for more information or to see past episodes, just head to ktvn.com.